This is the Resurrected Hobbyist with part 6 of my look at Ydin Holder demo. I apologize for this taking so long. Holiday season, class, some health problems, and some mental problems have crept up and kind of dumped on me the last 10 days or so. But I've got some time, I've got some energy. I'm going to try and finish this out today. Also, I've managed to fix that audio bug that I had with the music. So, yay, we can finally hear the music as it is in the game now. So, anyway, previously I have done the 3 dates for these 5 characters. I'm going to try and do the last 3 on this part. So let's just keep going around the circle and see where we wind up. We're going to the park. Arriving at the park, Suvi checked the swing set and Petula followed him. I swear I can't read. Looks like they finally finished the repairs. Well, Estelle did destroy everything with her fire magic. Yeah, fire tends to destroy things. We were pretty desperate. It's fortunate no one else was around. Yeah, even so, we can't be too cautious going forward. You're still worried about what happened during the incident at the mall? I can't help it. It dug up even worse memories. Ah, now I see. It might not have been the same mall as where you lost your parents, but it might as well have been. Yeah, trauma tends to do that, and comparable events will trigger. Yeah, plus, it was the biggest incident so far. And we still have 9 more months to go. Yeah, about that. They really do want to kill me as soon as possible. The boy sat on a swing, the Dryad sitting one spot over. We knew this would happen eventually. Yeah, but I honestly used to believe we could keep others out of it. Was it a mistake to stay in this city? Living in fear isn't a good thing, Suvi. Still better than letting anyone else get hurt. Come, sit. I'm all ready. Petula tapped on her lap. Ooh. I'm a bit too big for that. Now, Suvi. The boy sighed as he stood and did as directed. This is going in a weird direction. Good boy. That's not helping. The woman wrapped her arms around him, hugging him and pressing her bosom against his back. Just because we hide in the wilderness, there's no guarantee that anyone else won't get involved. Think about how some of the travelers ended up in different cities before they tracked you down. Most people get to live their lives to the end, but we don't know what will happen when you use the Ydin. So it's okay to be selfish. There are too many things beyond our control to account for. It's important to enjoy the here and now. Does that include what you're pressing against me? Cheeky. Of course. I feel like I need to make a joke about being sure to eat your greens here. The other students do enjoy taking their leisure to stare at them during class. I am so happy you like them too. Great, we have a promiscuous plant. If you know that, why do you let them? I don't see a reason not to, as long as they get their work done. Oh, are you jealous? Well, maybe a little. Petula tightened her grip on Suvi. So, as much as this is going to sound like a horny guy answer, did her boobs get bigger at some point? Anyway. Well then, I shall reward you with more skinship for being honest. Okay. Unable to refuse, the boy sat in silent appreciation of the Dryad's presence. No, that was short. And did she just like do a striptease for him? Is that what you was suggesting? So, date number 2. Suvi sat on the swing as Petula pushed him. You know this is supposed to be for children, right? Mostly. Plus, you are quite a bit younger than me. Creepy. I thought you said you didn't know your age. My world kept track of the passing of seasons, but didn't count how many passed. You're still long-lived though, right? You haven't changed at all since the first day you got here. So it seems. Still, from my perspective, I'm just living. How long has never really been important, but seeing students age so quickly has been weird for me, I'll admit, even though you're the only one I've spent so long with. You used to be so tiny. It's been interesting to see you grow big. Sounds like you still see me as a kid. The weight on your shoulders is too massive, a burden no one else can carry for you. You may be young, but you're no child. And until this is over, I'll be by your side to help you. I can't imagine doing any of this without you. Well, what happens from now on is up to you. However this year goes is your choice. Are you referring to whoever's world I choose to save? That's part of it. But it's also who you spend the remaining time with. If I choose other people, won't that make you jealous? It'd be a lie if I said no, but it's not a strong feeling either way. You really have changed a lot since coming here. I'm sure the Dryads would hardly recognize me. Do you miss them? That's a hard question to answer. We sort of just lived around one another independently. It was simple. How does life here compare? It's certainly more busy, but not entirely unenjoyable. Is that so? In a way, I don't think I know what it's like to actually live here. Ever since you saved me, we've been busy preparing for this year. That's exactly why I want you to be more selfish and do the things you want to do, see the stuff you want to see. That's why I brought you here, though. Been a while since you last pushed me. So you are enjoying it. That's great. Thanks, Petula, for everything. Thank you as well, Suvi. Okay, and then this should be date 3. The duo sat on a park bench. Petula handed Suvi an apple, which he promptly took a bite of. So would that be like a snuff film for her or something? Or consumption, I guess? Because, I mean, the apple dies as soon as you pick it. So would that be like watching someone... Would that be like watching another creature eat one of your siblings? Thanks. I thought you'd like a snack around this time. I was getting a little peckish. They sat in silence until the boy finished eating. Are you okay? What do you mean? It's been a while. It's been quite a while since you've been so reflective. It's that obvious to you, huh? You could never hide anything from me. You're the closest thing I have to family. Sometimes I just get caught up in the idea that you might not have been the one to find me. If it had been an enemy. Any number of things could have happened back then. It's not productive to consider the what-ifs. Still, my point is, no one knew what was coming. I honestly thought all of our plans and preparations would prevent this kind of thing from happening again. Wait, what? Okay. So is Suvi talking about the plans with Petula? But here he says it could have been an enemy that found him. I'm assuming that he's referring to when his parents were killed in the mall and Petula found him and started raising him. But this line implies that there were plans in effect that he knew of prior to that event. So, I don't know, you may want to look at this a little bit closer and have some other people read through it, see if they come to a similar conclusion. Because that sounds a little confusing. That was always an impossible task. There are too many unknown variables to be able to ever foresee everything. That was fine before people started dying. It was a miracle the stone ship incident didn't have any casualties, Suvi. The deaths should have started even before that. Okay. So is he talking about the stone ship incident? Or was he talking about when his parents were killed? Because I know the stone ship incident happened, I mean, relatively speaking, recently. I'm assuming sometime in the 3-month jump. So, I don't know, I'm a little confused as to what he's referring to here. I know. But still, there has to be a way to draw our enemies toward us and away from them. Our preparations and Kyros' protections run contrary to that idea, Suvi. We hid our home to prevent them from finding us. This Ydin, however it actually goes about saving worlds, I don't want to sacrifice the one we're in now to live long enough to use it. None of us may have a choice in that. We have to just do our best with what we have. Why not talk to the others about this in the meantime? Find out what they think. I'm pretty sure Sable and Spess don't give a shit one way or the other. Probable. Well, Sable I can't speak for, but I believe Spessarton is trying her best, just like the rest of us. You think so? She did help us put an end to the wizard's attack before more could be hurt. That must count for something. You're right. I guess I just sort of thought the others would be more focused on saving their own worlds than the lives of those living here. Even me? That was why you came here, but you're the type to care about everyone. Fair. Thank you. I'm glad you understand. During the last Ydin Holders era, it was apparently a bloodbath for everyone involved. I want to avoid that this time. Having you travelers not fight each other yet is a good step towards that. One step at a time, we'll get through this together. Yes. Okay, that should be the third date, and that should say, so sounds great, I want you to try the, okay. Okay. So, when I originally did Petula's dating, well, first arc, really, I commented that it felt like a completely different character from what I'd seen earlier in the game. That first date still feels that way. Petula seems much more snarky and flirty and yeah. The way she acts in the first date seems to be a different character is what I'm getting at. The other two dates on this does return her much more to the nurturing, motherly type figure that I had seen earlier in the game. Crap. Okay, sorry about that. I accidentally pulled my headphones out and couldn't hear anything, so I couldn't tell if they were still recording. Where was I? Yeah, Petula. So, yeah. With the 3 dates, again, it's still just that first date that kind of stands out too much. How do I put this? Like, it seemed like in the other 2 dates and the rest of the game, like, Petula's sexuality would have been like a 3 or a 4 on a 10-point scale, and maybe peak at a 5.5-ish range. But then the first date, it seemed like her sexuality was an 8. And I was just like, whoa, okay, what's going on here? It just really felt like a different character. So, I don't know. Look at what you're trying to achieve with that particular date from a thematic standpoint, and go from there. Okay, so next one, their choice. Okay. The forest was relatively silent, even as Suvi hiked through the brush, phone to his ear as he received instructions. Your proximity is close. You should be within sight. Thanks, Essie. Issei. You're welcome. Excuse me. I'm just having all sorts of interruptions tonight, it seems. You're welcome. The boy hung up the call, reaching the clearing. Estelle took a stance with her staff, chanting a spell. Red magical markings appeared in the air around her. Flame wave! Fire flowed out of her staff. Oh, I didn't notice the fiery sound effects the last time. Nice addition. Fire flowed out of her staff and drew into a burning wave that consumed the tree she aimed at. Then the attack continued and branched out to several other trees. Meanwhile, the original target crackled and fell over. Most of its trunk turned to charcoal. As the spell ended, the witch took a deep breath before chanting another. The markings in the air turned blue this time. Water torrent! Water rushed out of her staff and consumed the remaining flames. Finally, Estelle examined the extent of the damage she had caused. So, what's the verdict? Surprised, the witch aimed her weapon at the figure and started to chant before she realized who it was. Suvi, don't sneak up on me like that. Sorry, I got worried about you. You've been sneaking off by yourself a lot lately. What is this? Secret training? Yes. How'd you even find me? Next time, turn off your phone. EC tracked you for me. Listening in on calls, recording my browser history, tracking me. I told her not to do those things anymore. The brunette looked away for a moment before turning back to Suvi. I need to see how much further my magic has progressed. In secret? Yes. Well, I wasn't confident in my own estimation. I didn't want to make a fool of myself in front of everyone. The first spell was the one you used when we first met, wasn't it? What was the outcome? Yes, and that was exactly why I used it. Back then, it barely hurt that orc. Its shield was made of treated wood, and my spell didn't burn through it properly. As for now, well, you can see what it did with your own eyes. The boy nodded as he inspected the damage to the trees. It seems a lot stronger. Good. I guess doing this in public would attract a lot of attention. Well, unless you're looking to get a date with a fireman, I guess. It was smart of you to come out here. Quite frankly, I don't know if this is far enough for anyone not to notice. True. But the further you go out, the less likely it is that we can help you if you're in trouble. That I didn't consider. Well, consider it next time, please. I do worry about you. Thank you. Okay, and date number 2. The duo returned to a familiar clearing filled by burnt trees. Okay. Sorry, my cursor apparently switched windows. Alright, so what have you figured out so far? Well, the anchors I've been making are working. It was hard to cast spells when I first arrived, but now, even though I'm stronger, casting is quite effortless. Yeah, but you still cast them with a chant, don't you? Well, yes. The quick cast spells need some setup beforehand, so it's better to save them until I have enough of them ready. You know, practicing the chants actually improves my spell quality. How do you do that? By improving the enunciation or pronunciation? No. I mean, it doesn't matter how many times you say a chant or what words you use. The important thing is the feeling you want to imbue your spell with. That's how you choose what sort of magic it'll be. For someone as untalented as I, it takes a bit of practice. That said, the inner workings of magic can't really be laid out in such simple terms. There are people who have never practiced magic who can launch powerful spells, and there are dedicated studious witches who never can advance past a certain point. And you believe you're on the latter path? Like I've always said, I was the least talented and weakest among those chosen to come here. I'm not capable of doing what needs to be done to protect you. I disagree. Every day you've worked hard. I've seen you study for hours in that workshop of yours. I may not understand what kind of things make a witch powerful, but I've seen the effort you put in, and it has been showing results. That's good to hear. I was worried. And you're not alone. You might be the only witch here, but we've at least got each other to lean on. Well, last week made that quite clear. I couldn't hold a candle compared to that wizard. All the more reason I need to find out where my strength is currently at. Well, cast away then. Having a second set of eyes should help you gauge your output. I appreciate it. Thank you, Suvi. Okay, and then date number 3. Thunder and lightning. It was a dark and stormy night. The boy handed the witch a water bottle as she panted heavily. Thank you. Accepting it, she quickly took a big gulp. Suvi turned and looked at the aftermath of her spell. The ground still sparked near where the tree had cracked in half. What spell did you say that was? It was the first time I've cast lightning. That one was called Lightning Strike. Why did it wear you out so much? Every witch has a talent for one element over the others. Mine is fire. In other words, it's easier to cast fire since you have an affinity for it. Affinity. Yeah, that's a good word. Understanding a spell is the most important thing, even more than the chant. My understanding of electricity has been a recent development. I could never grasp it before. Interesting. What do you mean by recent? Electricity is what your devices run off, right? The lights and phones. Looking them up online helped me understand how electricity worked. Wait, knowledge from our world helped you improve your magic? Yes, it's safe to assume that back in my own world, I would never have been able to learn to cast lightning magic. Getting back onto her feet, Estelle dusted herself off. Of course, I didn't know if that was actually the case. You guessed? Well, hey, it worked, didn't it? You proved your theory. Yes, so it seems. That's great. You proved a theory that no one else from your home could. Really? No other witch has been to Earth, right? Even if they considered your theory, they would never have had the chance to try it out. At least not anytime soon. That makes sense. Still, with this same knowledge, one of the other girls could have become a lot stronger than me. Well, you're getting stronger every day. I've seen it. And it's fun to watch. I'm glad you think so. But I wasn't very useful during the attack. None of us were ready for that. You did your best. We'll be ready next time. Yeah, that's why I'm out here. Even if it's supposed to be secret. Sorry. Okay, that should be all 3 of hers now. Okay. Okay. So... I like Estelle's character. And I like a lot of the world building that you're doing through her. I'm just going to throw up a red flag. This isn't a bad thing, because this is just a demo and I don't have the full story. But be cautious how much characterization and how much world building you do through a given character. Right now, seems like you're doing about 70% world building, 30% character with her. If you maintain that through the game, she's going to be a very weak character. You really want to try to aim for either a majority of character or an equal split between character development and world building. Just right now, the only thing I really know about her is she has an inferiority complex. She thinks she's the weakest. She thinks she's the least talented. Is she? I can't tell. I don't have anything to compare her against. But it is getting annoying hearing her always be down on herself. So, rival, moment of truth, pushing herself to do something beyond her abilities, managing to do it but having a backlash. These are all options for her storyline. Could also find that there is another motivation for her besides accomplishing her mission and getting stronger. If you're a Dragon Ball Z fan, am I looking at Vegeta or am I looking at Piccolo? Is, I think, the best way to describe this. Okay, and then, God, I cannot remember anyone's name tonight. There was a knock at the door. Rolla, I know you're in there. Something moved from under the covers of the bed. I'm coming in, okay? Suvi opened the door and entered the room. Looking around, he spotted a mysterious lump under the bed's blankets. Walking to the bedside, Suvi sat on the floor with his back against the bed frame. Comfy? Yeah? That's good. The moments passed in silence. Eventually, Rolla cautiously poked his head out from under the covers. Suvi? Yeah? Was it my fault? No, it wasn't. But I could have. It's not your fault. It's mine. None of us could have predicted that some wizard would appear and raise the entire area. It was my fault. He had to attract me somehow. No one else has to take any blame or feel guilt over it. The fairy reached out and patted the boy's head. That sounds unreasonable. Everyone else was there too, helping and fighting. It was only me who could barely stand. I was so scared that I threw up. As the Ydin holder, everything that has and will happen is because of me. You might be the target of many, but that doesn't mean you're the cause. Rolla threw the blanket off himself and stood on top of his bed. Me and the others came here to obtain your power, and the rest came here to destroy it. We knew they'd be coming, though. We should have prepared better. How so? Found a way to control everyone? Laid traps everywhere? It would have been an impossible task, and you know it. Caught off guard by Rolla's frankness, the boy hid his face in his palms. Even so, I didn't want this to happen. I don't think any of us did. Well, Sable might have enjoyed it. She's chaos incarnate. Not really a reliable person to test morals against. There's still 9 months until the Ydin awakens. There are going to be more conflicts. They'll get bigger and more people will be forcibly involved. I thought you came here to cheer me up, but you're more down than I am. Sorry. No, I appreciate it, the honesty. Ever since I met you, I thought you had everything figured out. You were confident and reliable, taking the time to tell me your problems and worries. That means something. We can be downers together. The fairy got off his bed and sat next to the boy, close enough to touch shoulders. Thanks. This is nice. Let's stay like this until both of us feel better. Not sure that'll be anytime soon. Then, I guess I'll get a little more time with you than usual. Glancing at Rolla, Suvi saw a bright smile and returned it with a smaller one. Okay, now date number 2. Suvi sat behind Rolla. The fairy's hair was out of his signature braid. Thanks for helping me again with this. Of course. You've got smooth and silky hair. It feels nice to run my fingers through. It's sort of embarrassing when you do that, though. Is brushing it really any different, though? The boy began to run the comb through Rolla's long blonde hair. Yes. If you say so. Must take a lot of work to maintain your hair. When do you normally brush it? It takes a while, but I do it daily. If I neglect it even for one day, it gets a lot tougher. Oof, that would drive me absolutely out the window. Why not get Petula or Estelle to help? I usually do, but I still kind of want to stay in here for a bit longer. I'm assuming he means in the room. They could have done it in here. You wouldn't have had to leave. Noticing the fairy still had something to say, Suvi became silent. I always knew I was the weakest among us. I just thought if I tried hard enough, I could catch up somehow and be able to help better whenever the situation called for it. After what happened at the mall, if the fight over you becomes serious, I'm less than confident that I can win. Are you afraid of the others? They're more or less reliable, good people, but they are also my competition. That makes us all enemies. I know more than one of them believes that if they get rid of everyone else, you'll have no choice but to choose them. If there's only one option, they'll be the only choice then? Right. I know it's unreasonable, but that's the outcome I fear. It's okay for you to acknowledge your fears and doubts, Rolla. Suvi brushed the other boy's soft hair as he reassured him. We all have them. If we ignored them, we'd never be prepared when a situation turned out differently than expected. We always knew others would get involved eventually. I was just hoping we could avoid their deaths. Now that it's happened, I'm filled with regret over not being able to prevent it. For both our sakes, we need to learn from our mistakes before the next big incident occurs. We can't let the same thing happen again. Is this why you're still getting to know us better? Yes. Our time only grows shorter. Once the Ydin awakens, it'll be too late. I don't want to regret whatever happens then. And if brushing your hair when you're depressed and want to avoid the others helps you, then I'm glad to have had the chance. Rolla's face flushed with embarrassment as he felt Suvi's touch against his hair, the boy continuing to brush. You say that, but you're just as depressed as me. But I'm glad too, Suvi. Thank you. Anytime, Rolla. Thank you as well. You're welcome. And then date 3. The boy entered the bedroom to find the fairy cleaning the space. Did I come at a bad time? No, I can finish up later. I just felt like cleaning up a bit. Your room is always neat and tidy. Is there even anything to clean up? Well, dust is always a thing. Plus, it's just good to keep your living space clean. A tidy room helps maintain a tidy heart. Okay, interesting life approach. You say that with a lot of confidence, but it's a very fluffy saying. Well, because of my recent hiding habit, I started to neglect my regular duties. It might not involve the others, but I like to keep busy when I can. You did have quite a few knots in your hair the last time I visited. Hair care wasn't all I used to do. I'm endeavoring to get back to my regular groove. Are you sure you weren't just embarrassed by me seeing you a little messy? That might have had a tiny influence on my decision. But this isn't just for you. I don't like being down all the time. Yeah, I know that feeling. There are just chores I need to take care of to be happy, Rolla again. Well, there's one thing that never changes. What would that be? You're always cute, Rolla. The fairy's face flushed as he punched the other boy lightly. I told you not to call me that. But it's true, even when you're feeling down. You know, you say that, but I'm considered ugly by the other fairy standards. Based on what criteria? What? That's not possible. It's true. That's why it bugs me when you say that. In the eyes of everyone else, I'm one of the, if not the ugliest fairies. I wholeheartedly disagree with them. You're quite adorable. Do you really believe that? Of course I do. I always try to be truthful with you and the others. You should understand that by now. I do. So, you're not just being nice? I promise, Rolla, I honestly think you're cute. And think you're probably fishing for compliments. Rolla was quiet for a few moments, his eyes darting to and away from Suvi a few times. Even if you say that, it's embarrassing. We both know I'm going to call you cute again in the future. Better get used to it. The fairy moved closer to Suvi and looked up at him. Even if I change into a girl? Boy or girl, you'll be cute in any form you take. Stepping back, Rolla nodded to himself and whispered under his breath. I'll have to practice harder. What's that? Nothing. Okay. What halo of interest did you find one that you enjoyed more than the others? For the purpose of letting you get a preview with each girl, we limited the number of dates you could go on. But in the full story, you won't be able to see all the dates in one playthrough. You'll have to choose which you'd like to save along with their world. Please consider leaving feedback with our team so we can better create content you can enjoy. And if you really wish to help out, please subscribe. Please support us through Subscribe Bester. Thank you very much for taking interest in Ydin Holder, for planning to give you a try. You're a wonderful person. Okay, so that is all the dating routes. I have some questions about Rolla. I mean, number one, is the change that he mentioned, going from male to female, it seemed, is it a choice? Is it a event? Or is it, what it seems to be presented as, and that is, he believes he may be transgender. I can't say I find any of the options problematic in that regard. It's just with so little material to work on with Rolla, it's like, okay, who is the character outside of these, 10, 11 minutes of story? Yeah, that's what it boils down to, really. If Petula is the one that you seem to be doing a lot of, or if Petula and Stella are the ones that you're doing a lot of world building with, Rolla seems to be the one you're not doing a lot of world building with. And that's not a bad thing. There's nothing wrong with focusing on the individual character and cutting back on the world building for them. It's just, as it is right now in the demo, some of your characters are being presented for world building purposes. Some of them are being presented with character purposes. No matter which extreme you go with, I'm going to be left with questions. But if you have to focus on one, I would advise focusing on character. You can honestly go through an entire story and give me no world building. As long as the characters are strong, fine. That's good. World building is a secondary thing as far as I'm concerned in that regard. So, none of the thoughts I did in my final thoughts video have changed about the game overall. I'm still interested in the game. I want to see where it goes out, or how it goes out. And yeah, I think this is about as good a place as any to wrap it up. And check out my other videos for my thoughts on the different parts of it. And good luck. Let me know when you get the game ready for release, and I can do a full long play on it when it comes out.